now we're going to look at the three things that make up your camera, understanding exposure in the most simple terms. Now, some of you may understand this already. For a lot of people, they don't. There's actually, believe it or not, some professional photographers that don't even know this simple fact. You know, they're really good at using their cameras, and, you know, to take good pictures, do you have to know this stuff? Really, you do. At this fundamental level, you do. This is an actual aperture from a real lens. Okay? This is an actual sensor from a Nikon D7100. And I'm not going to hook up a shutter mechanism, but here we have a shutter, or at least a makeshift shutter. Yeah, I like those swishing noises, right? Everything to do with exposure, and ISO is not in this picture because ISO is neither exposure nor sensitivity. Everything that has to do with exposure is gain and time. What are the two aspects of gain? Decrease gain, increase gain. Let me apply some light here. Increase gain, decrease gain, increase gain, decrease gain, increase gain. Shallow depth of field, more gain. More depth of field, less gain. Over a period of time, right? Yeah, I love those sound effects I make, right? There's another gain. And that gain is on the sensor itself. Okay, pixel pitch. Well, this is a DX crop sensor. Things are changing some, especially on a few newer cameras, but this sensor from a Nikon D7100, okay, has a pixel pitch such that if it were the exact same pitch or same density, it would be a 54 megapixel sensor if it were full frame. It's a 24 megapixel sensor in DX. But if we scaled that up to full frame, which would be about the size of the black box around it, would be a 54 megapixel sensor. How large those millions and millions and millions and millions of little spots are on there over a given period of time is gain. Smaller little tiny little photo sites, okay? They have less gain over a short period of time. Right? But if you're a bird shooter and you got good lighting, for example, or if you're a studio photographer and you know you're controlling the lighting, the fact that these tiny little photo sites don't have as much gain over a given period of time as opposed to a full frame sensor doesn't really matter because you got all the light you want. No issues of camera shake, you know, unless you're just getting dusk and you know it's like 8 o'clock and you're still trying to photograph birds, for example. You know, you're not going to add light at 1,000 yards away. That's an issue. But there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the sensor, which is signal processing. So we have two aspects of gain. This gain, less gain, more gain, less gain, more gain. Big depth of field, shallow depth of field. Big depth of field, shallow depth of field. More light, less light, less light, less light, less light. Gain here and gain here, right? Gain, native gain, native gain. It's actual physical gain. You can't alter this. Well, you can't alter this by actually switching to a faster lens. This is from a lens. I forget what lens it's from. I got camera parts laying all over the place. I've actually, even though this is a simplistic demo, I've actually not seen anything on YouTube like this, so I thought I'd make it simple. Your camera has an all exposure in the world. Now, if you have an electronic shutter and your mirrorless camera, so what? It's still a temporal variable, right? No difference. Still a temporal variable. So it doesn't matter if it's an electronic shutter or if it's a mechanical shutter. It is still gain over a period of time. Whether it's mechanical shutter, electronic shutter, no big deal. It's still a sampling over a period of t. So all cameras work like this. Gain here, and a time variable. This is all exposure. And you will not find ISO anywhere here. ISO is not here. ISO is neither sensitivity nor exposure. Okay? Okay. This, baby, is how your camera works. Yeah, I love the sound effects. Alright, catch you later. Bye.